From Universal Studios Hollywood, welcome to Home and Family.
Let's welcome back a returning family member and comedic impressionist, one of my very favorite people in the whole world, Louise DuArt. Welcome.
Well, actually, I'm not here. Barbara Streisand's here.
Oh, Barbara's here. Oh, I love it when you do that.
People, we need people. Codependent.
What are you doing with your eyes? Oh, my God.
That's a Barbara.
I think that fixed. My mother always said, don't do that, Louise, because they're going to say like that. They're okay, aren't they?
Yeah, no.
Good. All right, great. Want to make sure.
Do you drive with those, too?
So if you were disciplining a child as Cher, how would you do that?
Well, first off, you know, most of these little ones are my boyfriends. Yeah, I don't know whether to kiss them or change them. Really. Matter of fact, I can't stay long. I'm due at the hospital. I'm expecting the birth of my next boyfriend.
But I'd be Judge Judy.
What?
I'd be Judge
Judy. What would you?
Hey, get over here. Come here. Do you see stupid on my forehead here? I don't trust you for 1 second, you little booger.
I'll take care of that.
Also joining Louise is her husband, author of Divine Alignment. He's here to tell us about the strengthening family bond through the power of prayer. Welcome, Squire.
Oh, thank you kindly. Yes, I'm going to talk about the glue that is absolutely free, and it's all summed up in that old slogan, families that pray together, stay together. Wow. And quite frankly, every time I get up in the morning, I never know who I'm waking up next to.
I was trying to say.
That is
Do you have a preference?
That's good.
Can I say,
Okay.
he doesn't like Joan Rivers.
No.
Oh, no.
Right, a preference.
Something tells me that's going to be a fun couple of segments just waiting to happen. When we come back, we have Squire, Louise. They're here telling us how prayer can actually strengthen the family as well. Don't go away.
We're back with home and family friends Louise DuArt and SQuire Rushnell. And at the top of the show, Louise did some impressions of famous people we love. When she does her impressions, we love everything that you do. And could you do another one for us?
Did you do Christina Ferrari?
No,
I know her so well.
I've often said this, Christina does sound a little like Cher. Doesn't she think
She
about
does.
it? She does. A little bit.
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Really? Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
That's where it starts, isn't it? Everything starts with Cher, and then there's a derivative of it.
Absolutely does. Let's face it, the whole world revolves around me.
I want to do a joke as Katherine Hepburn, because you know Katherine Hepburn, she never became a stand-up comic, but that was always her dream. A lot of people don't know that.
That is
Oh,
not
really?
true.
She was
Louise,
wonderful.
is it?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
Part of her act. So it's true.
All right, now, an atheist is walking through the woods when all of a sudden he runs smack dab into a big old grizzly bear. The grizzly bear gets on his hind legs. He's frothing at the mouth. He is just about to attack the man when the atheist looks up to heaven and says, "Oh, if there is a God, please make this bear a Christian." All of a sudden, the bear drops to his knees. He puts his paws together. He bows his head and he says, "Oh, Lord, bless this food that I'm about to eat."
Nice.
I just love the way, Squire, I've known you both for such a long time and have had the opportunity to be with you on many occasions. But the way every time Louise opens her mouth, you look at her with such love and appreciation. You are her best audience.
It's funny. I go into the audience during the shows and just sit there and laugh. Yeah.
He's usually the only one, though.
No, that's so not true. And I know you've heard her jokes many, and
Many
each time
times.
she tells it, you laugh just as hard.
Oh, I do. Yeah, they're wonderful.
All right. Well, Squire is the author of Divine Alignment, and you guys are going to share your how prayer can help strengthen your family and your marriage.
Yes.
That's right.
And how
You're the author, of this wonderful book. So how does that bond?
Everything starts with communication in any relationship, whether it's with you and your children, whether it's with you and Tony. The best communication is the best relationship. And it's the same thing with God. If you communicate with God, a little chat every day, you are going to have a better relationship with God. or the man upstairs. And so that's what I talk about. I talk about the fact that we need to teach our families how to communicate with God, and the best way to do that is through example.
And when it comes to children, as you mentioned, teaching a child to pray isn't always an easy thing because it's not so tangible. It takes...
Well, there are so many parents who taught their kids to pray, "Now I lay me down to sleep." If I should die before I wake, what? I mean, we don't really teach our kids how to pray. And the most important thing is to show them how to pray. And parents who pray in front of their children, Pauletta Washington talked about this in her relationship with Denzel, that she saw her parents praying together. She brought that into her marriage with Denzel, and they have a very strong relationship, over 25 years of marriage. But there's a story I want to tell you that exemplifies what happens when a family prays together. It's a story that's actually in that book, Divine Alignment. It's about Tony and David. Tony was the wife, David was the husband. They lived in McAllen, Texas, which, if you think of Texas, the long tail that goes down, the very bottom of that tail is McAllen, Texas. In the middle of winter, a cold day is 75 in McAllen, Texas. David gets a report that he has got to have a heart transplant or he is going to die. But then, getting a heart transplant, you got to wait. And so while they are waiting, Tony gathers the family together, the children together, and they are praying. They pray every single day. This communication is very strong with God. So it dawns on Tony that there's something wrong here because they're praying for somebody to die in order for her husband to live. So she says, "I'm just going to pray for a complete healing. And God, I would love to have a confirmation. I would like to have my prayer answered and have it confirmed by having it snow in McAllen, Texas." Now, she told this to a couple of friends, and they said, "Tony, we know you believe in prayer. We live in McAllen, Texas. Do you know it hasn't had a single flake of snow in 109 years? And it's never snowed on Christmas Day, which is when she was asking for God to deliver this snow." She nodded and said, "Children, we are praying, and it's going to snow." At 11:45 on Christmas Eve, she looked out the back door, and that is what happened. Snow was coming down. You see the flowers in bloom in the background.
That's not a little snow. That's a lot of snow.
On Tony. The next day, the kids get up and they start making snowmen and angels in the snow, and it's a front-page story. First white Christmas in the history of McAllen. Nobody knew that Tony was praying. But here was the incredible power of that communication. 3 weeks later, they went up to Houston. David's heart was tested, and they said, "I don't know what happened. You're completely healed." They had a complete healing. The power of that communication with those kids is going to last forever in that family. And they're always going to remember that their dad lived because they gathered together and had that communication.
Well, certainly miracles do happen. I find that as a family, as you know, Tony and I, we were in your book.
Yes, you
we
were.
did that experiment that you had a couple couples who pray for 40 days. And we've done that. We've implemented that into our lives, and our children have seen us do it as well. And during the 40 days, you go through ups and downs, and a lot of times, you'll say, "Oh my God, this is not working." But I realize that if you're going to ask God for something, you have to be patient and wait for Him to do His thing. Because if you think you're asking Him for something and something doesn't turn out, you have to say, if you're going to ask Him, then you better wait for Him to do His thing. And
that's exactly right.
But it does work. I found that too with our children now that they're adults. The spirituality or having God in their life, it's helped them through some bad times to their life, that I see that they turn to the power of prayer, and it helps them.
It is a tool that every child can turn to. Every kid is going through as much stress as we parents go through. And when they go off and they're They're bullied at school and they don't know what to do. They don't want to tell anybody. They're concerned about all the confusion. They can always turn to that quieting, centering, focusing moment of being able to pray.
You know, but you have to listen.
Yeah.
You have to listen because he'll speak to you if you're quiet enough.
That's exactly right. Now, I don't know how it works.
I don't either.
I have to tell you, I'm the guy who brought you Schoolhouse Rock. I'm the Godwink guy. I don't know how it works. I just know that it does. And there are so many things in our life that we don't know how they work. When we turn that TV on, I still don't know how that picture comes through the air invisibly after all these years I've been in television. It just works.
Does.
And so does prayer.
Yes, it does.
Thank you so much, Squire. Louise, Cher, Catherine, Joan. Who else was there today?
Welcome to Nanny, Fran Drescher, the nanny from Queens.
We want to thank all of you guys.
We have to mention that we're going to be talking about prayer and dynamic duos on May 17th in Branson. It's an incredible new show, a music, inspiration, and comedy show. You come away
with Ricky Skaggs and his wife.
May 17th in Branson.
Who doesn't love Branson, Missouri?
Dynamicduos.org.
Okay, when we return, we're joining our gardening all-stars to learn about what we should all be planting this spring, and we want to thank Louise and
Squire for being here. Thank you guys so much. We'll be right back.
I had a break part. Yeah.